So, this is an interesting video to be making. This is basically a sequel to a video that I made 10 years ago.
I'm bringing you guys a video here pretty much just to announce that I have finished my book. And I suppose it's a bit, unconventional, a bit weird, because here I am out here in the real world, I suppose, and not in my room.
I mean, I did a reaction video to a video that I made 10 years ago. So, if you go and watch that video, it's no surprise that I have videos from 10 years ago. I'd finished the first draft of what would eventually become this thing. In fact, let me just let's have a good old look at it. So this book, it's like 400 something pages. I always forget the exact number. It's 434. No, it's not. It's 431 pages. 431 pages of like actual story, pretty much. And then there's some extra stuff at the back for anyone who's interested. But this was my first ever book, and until very recently, it was the only story I had ever completed from start to finish. I published that back in 2020. I did have a version of it that I published in 2019, but we're not going to talk about that. But 2020 February was the official time that I actually published it. So it's going to be almost 6 years now since I published this, which I'm telling you, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, 2020 does not feel like it was 6 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, really think about that. Like, the pandemic, COVID, all of that was 6 years ago. That's crazy. Like, that, I don't understand how time is moving. I know people say it's because you're getting older and bro, like, I don't know. Anyway, I am here to tell you guys that I have finished the first draft of my second book, okay? And that is the sequel to this one, all right? So this is The Light Within Tears, and my sequel is called The Advent of Shadows. And I will say this, it was hard. It was hard to write. I'm not going to delve too deeply into the sequel or my process making it or anything in this particular video, but I will say that it took some time to get that first draft done. My first draft that I wrote for my first book, that one only took me 9 months. I was going back through some old files, and I found that this book, I have 3 versions of it. 3. I'm talking, there are 2 other versions of this story from start to finish, and they're all distinct from each other. I completely forgot this. Like, the amount of things that were changed, the amount of things that's different, but then some of the things that stayed the same, and there was things that I wrote or foreshadowed in those old versions that is not in this final version that do appear in the sequel. Crazy. Like, it's just insane how things kind of play out. I don't know what like meaning those old versions will ever have to anybody, but I just think it's cool that they do exist and they are full-fledged stories. Like, one, if not both of those older versions are actually longer than even this book, so that's kind of crazy to think about. This first draft of my sequel of the second book has taken me 5 years. So ever since I published the first book, I've been writing the sequel, and it has taken me until December 23rd, 2025 to finish it. Like, that's how long it took. Now, obviously, I have to go through it, I have to edit it, and I know now from having experience dealing with the first book, that editing process can take a long ass time. Because if you paid attention, I said that I published the book in 2020, but the video that I made is 10 years old. 2020 is not 10 years ago, right? So 2015, okay, August 2015 is when I had finished the first draft. All right, it was August 3rd specifically. So on August 3rd, 2015, I finished the first draft of my first book. And back then, all I really mostly had to worry about was school. Okay, so that was mainly what I was concerned with back then. So I had a lot more adult stuff going on, and so much things have occurred in my life in that past decade. But also overall, and most importantly, because it's better. It's better. And that's really the main thing, is that the first draft of my sequel in comparison to the first draft that I did for the first book, it's no comparison. It's no comparison. I mean, bro, like, I mean, the second book has got such a higher quality level because my writing has improved, my understanding of the craft has improved. Also, the story, I feel, is just a stronger type of story. There's a lot that it has going for it that favors it, and is why I believe the first draft came out a lot stronger. And of course, because I took a lot more time on the first draft, I had a clearer vision. I knew what this series, you know, this trilogy, this saga is. I know what kind of storyteller I want to be. I know what kind of voice I have for this particular story, for the Fate Slayer saga, as it's called. So I know all of these things. When I wrote the first draft for my first book, I was still figuring out a lot of those things. I was still learning a lot of those things. And so it's completely different. But all I can say is that it feels so satisfying to finally have it done, because for a long time there was like this segment of my brain that was just dedicated to thinking about this second book. And even when I was doing other things, it was like it was always in the background, just on autopilot. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, this book was in some ways a lot easier to write than the first book, but also a lot harder. You know, the final act of the book was really tough, and for sure, you know, when it comes to editing it and polishing it, I know that segment of the book is going to require the most work. The good thing is I have experience doing this already. Like I said, I went through 3 versions. It's insane to me that I actually forgot one of those versions, because you have to think, like, it took a lot of time to write that book. Okay, it took a lot of time to write this. This book took 6 years. 6 years. Okay, from the time when I first started writing it, right, when I was 17, all the things that I already know now about myself as a writer, I had to go through the process of learning those things whilst I made that book. That's the reason why now when I make the sequel, I don't have any of those concerns. My main concern now is just making the book actually fit the vision I want and actually just be good. But I don't need to worry about my confidence in, am I good at telling this story? Does this make sense? I mean, I still kind of think about if it makes sense, but it's not with the same degree of insecurity or concern that I had when writing my first ever book. And so, I don't know, like, it's just kind of cool to really think about. But like I said, I don't want this video to be super long. This is literally just a video just to say I done it. There can be many videos in the future where I delve deeper into the process, the mindset, the craft, the yada, yada, yada. We can get into all of that if that's something people are interested in. But this is just me doing the sequel to my first video where I said that I finished my first draft. And so I'm here to tell you, in 2026, I have finished my first draft of the second book I've ever written. And yeah, it feels pretty damn good. I think I'm gonna have to snipe this moth. Like, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to snipe it, because like, bro's just all up in my face in the video. Like if any of you guys ever make content, I'm sorry, we got to do this aside. If any of you guys ever make content, things that never happen in your daily life will just start happening at a rapid rate the moment you hit record. This moth had no interest being around me until I hit the record button. Now all of a sudden it's got some weird obsession with my face. It's interesting. It's very interesting.